civilians, denying that Israel's violated international genocide laws, denying that they have violated 6 federal statutes conditioning shipment of weapons to foreign countries.
Hey, this is D. Riley from the 90s Hits R&B Jams. Make sure you listen to WBOK 1230 AM every Saturday night from 7 until 9 p.m. I'll be giving you the best R&B jams from the 90s. That's right, all your favorites and more. With me, D. Riley, your host of the 90s Hits, right here on WBOK 1230 AM, or listen online at WBOK1230.com. WBOK, the station you listen to longer.
Delgado Community College offers programs in business, technology, health sciences, and the arts, with over 100 career-focused degrees and certificates that are affordable, flexible, and transferable. We can give you the knowledge and skills to succeed. Delgado is a great fit if you're starting your post-high school education, or we can help you advance or change your career. Take a step toward being unstoppable at Delgado Community College. Visit dcc.edu to learn more today.
It's no secret that in New Orleans, we love good food just as much as we love our community. So why not make groceries while supporting local food producers too? Crescent City Farmers Market hosts year-round, rain or shine, where you can buy the region's freshest in-season produce, dairy, meat, seafood, and more. Using SNAP benefits at our market is easy, and with Market Match, you can double your dollars. Yes, that's right. Swipe your EBT card and we'll match every SNAP dollar, doubling your grocery budget so you can purchase more fresh fruits, vegetables, and food-bearing plants. Check us out on social media and visit us at marketumbrella.org for dates and locations. See you at the market.
Visit DePaul's new Algiers Health Center at 2801 General de Gaulle Drive to receive primary and preventive care for both adults and children. Services also include behavioral health, imaging, an on-site pharmacy, vision, Medicaid enrollment assistance, and more. For appointments, visit DePaulCommunityHealthCenters.org or call 504-207-3060.
WBOK is pleased to announce the reboot of Crosstown Conversations with host Gene Nathan. A heightened focus on cultural entertainment events and the creators who present them. The new time is now Saturday at noon. Tune into the stories of our exploding creative scene with Gene Nathan on Crosstown Conversations.
Greetings, WBOK family. This is Jason Clark, host of United Way and You. Be sure to tune in next Thursday at 12 p.m. when we'll be speaking with Melanie Richardson, co-founder and executive director of Training Grounds, a United Way funded partner. The topic will be the We Play, We Connect Family Resource Hub. Please tune in if you're able. Until then, we only have one life to live, so live united.
WBOK 1230 AM New Orleans. Home of the Good Morning Show, 7 to 9 a.m. weekdays.
This news report is brought to you by New Schools for New Orleans.
I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. The trial for the officers charged in the death of African-American Tyree Nichols is continuing this week in Memphis, Tennessee. The judge Friday agreed to allow response to resistance forms filled out by the officers as evidence after an attempt by defense attorneys to have them suppressed. Tuesday's full moon will be accompanied by a partial lunar eclipse, offering people in North America, South America, Africa, and Europe an opportunity to see some of the moon's exterior concealed by the Earth's shadow. FTX co-founder Sam Bankman-Fried is appealing his conviction. The so-called Crypto King was convicted of multiple fraud and conspiracy charges after it was discovered he illegally used client and lenders' money to fund his extravagant lifestyle. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network, and BINnews.com.
Celebrating hardworking teachers of New Orleans Public Schools is what we do best. Join New Schools for New Orleans, Allstate, Sugar Bowl, and Integer New Orleans in recognizing and celebrating the Teachers of the Year at our 3rd annual New Orleans Excellence in Teaching Awards Gala. If you want to check out the awardees in the schools where they teach at, please visit noeta, noeta.org. You can also purchase tickets to the gala via the website too. Let's send these teachers some love for all the hard work they do with our students.
Good morning, wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK 1230 AM.
Wake up, New Orleans. 5 minutes past the top of the hour. Happy Monday, everybody. Yeah, we're gonna roll. We're gonna roll Sunday, Monday, Thursday. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, back to Sunday. We're going to roll right into hump day, roll down the hill. It'll be the weekend again.
You got it all planned out, huh?
Got it all planned out. Dr. Wyatt, OT.
Good morning.
The early bird, good morning. Of course, it's another happy week. Man, the Saints beat the Cowbells.
Beat is kind of nice.
Yeah.
We need a stronger word.
Punished them. Them people in New Orleans was second line and beating
They turned Dallas into New Orleans.
Wow.
They had a second line band. Yeah.
Yeah, Dallas is black and gold now. I mean, the team black and blue.
Better than Bruce.
But the city black and gold.
Like, yeah, because, people are like, who is this team? But they need to run Alvin Kamara his money. He need his money.
Well, he got paid.
Yeah, listen.
Yeah, no, he's one of the last running backs to get that money before they started making the running back position persona non grata.
Yeah, but does he have his contract from the New Orleans Saints? That has been the conversation when it happened, when they inked that deal.
I think he's about $20 million a year, which is, running backs now, they signing them for the minimum.
Well,
I mean, Ezekiel Elliott was the last, because my partner, Rocky Arsenal from New Orleans, the night one. Rocky represents Ezekiel. He's the one got him that $96 million contract.
Well, I think there were some talks around his contract because
well,
he put his house up for sale. He was saying, that.
Well, he thought, I mean, look, let me say this. As somebody who played ball, not at the highest level, but at the next side, look, you see all my fingers, all sideways and stuff, and I did it for free.
Did it for free?
Yeah, there's no amount of money. I'll never forget a conversation with one of my partners, man, and I asked him what he was doing, and he said, trying to get to his bedroom. I said, what you mean? He said, I've been on the couch all day and I can't move. He played football for the 49ers. His name was Ronnie Lott.
Yeah, I know.
So pay him.
I think the team we saw, if that is any indication of how the season is going to go, it's going to be a fun time in New Orleans because everybody knows when the Saints are winning, the attitude and the atmosphere around this place is different.
Yeah, I mean, because for too many people in New Orleans, it's the Saints, a garden family.
Yeah.
Now, I don't agree with your order.
Listen.
But, hey, if they're winning, then that means you're nice to everybody.
Yeah. And I think the atmosphere, the culture, everything feels more vibrant when our teams are winning.
And there's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
When we dodged one, I thank y'all for holding it down.
Oh, no. Listen.
Last week during the storm.
I got you covered.
Hopefully everybody made all right. I'm going to reveal some stuff. The talk show, I like to talk about stuff. So, there's OT, the elected official. There's OT, the father. There's OT, the friend. And then when we do on the talk show, television talk show, we talk about stuff. I had one person reach out to me during the storm and the rain.
Mm-hmm.
And they asked me, they say, why the water in the canal's getting high?
Come on.
They reached out to me and they said, why the water in the canal's getting high? Because it's raining and the hurricane pushing the storm surge. And that meant the canals was doing their job.
Sometimes, 2 + 2 isn't always 4 for people.
And this is educated,
but they need sometimes
sophisticated people.
Well, educated and sophisticated in other areas other than canal and the water in the canal, because sometimes people need a little reassurance.
Yeah.
Maybe let's just call it that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My son did his first. My son, first of all, my son did his first little storm run. I'm trained to go out during the storm, check the drains. I knew the water was right. We got about 2 feet of water in our street, but it never made the driveway of the house.
Thank goodness.
I checked the other street and the canals, and my son actually came with me. We were safe. We had some gusts, but the wind wasn't blowing as hard. We really made out well, guys. And he was actually, if there was something a stick or something in the drain. He was pulling it out. And I thought that was important because as a person who other people helped as a kid, was rescued, I thought it was important, especially that he asked to come with me.
Yeah. But I also think your neighbors feel a sense of calm knowing that you're their neighbor. That's almost like having like a police officer, a fireman in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
I think that gives people a sense of real community that you're there.
And me and Nakia Hooks, who's president of our Lake Willow Association, he was out on one end, I was out on the other, and we were communicating.
Yeah.
And that really, but I was just happy because I want my son to know he's got to pay it forward.
Yeah. We just have to get back to the sense of community. I saw a guy, he went live when y'all were giving out the sandbags.
Yeah.
He said he was in the line to get it, and he saw women, older women, packing the bags.
Yeah.
He said, so I got out my car and I helped them pack like 100 bags. He was like, fellas, if y'all in that line, get out the car.
Yeah.
That's that's what we're used to. I came up
one
in
man
New
left
Orleans.
his family, man. He had like
Yeah.
his wife and his kids, and he just let her move the car.
Yeah.
And he came and he
When
stayed
did
with
what men do.
stayed with us a couple hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me say something. I'm
Yeah.
still sore from saying
We have to just
We
get
did
back
over
to that
2,000
because the
sandbags. That would
kids
hurt.
will follow the lead.
Yes, they
if
will.
they see you leading.
Yes, they will.
So when kids are watching men doing what men are supposed to do for the village, the kids will respond to that.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think it's just modeling the behavior you want to see.
I made a comment at one of the press conferences. I made two that were unusual. I thank God, and that's rare these days, at public comments, public events.
Right.
Because I still believe prayer, but for the hand of God. Because my mom told us that.
But you also been through some things, so you know
my
he
mom
real.
raised us like that.
You know it's real, right?
Yeah. And then the other thing was people really, New Orleans, we are really good at coming together when something bad happens. And I made a comment, and I was hoping it wasn't out of order, that I wish we could maintain that.
I heard that.
365. Because, man, I love me some of us when we need us.
Yeah.
You know, it's like them young boys during Katrina who people didn't understand jumping off the side of the interstate and on top of houses to help people. You know, and because, so that's what we do.
It's innate. It's innate. It's in us.
That's
it's
what
not
we
on
do.
us. That's why I keep
Right.
trying. That's how you can tell a person who is naturally a part of this community and
Right.
people who are
Right.
cosplaying as a
Right.
native New Orleanian
Right.
because it's inside of us. It's not on us.
Right.
The culture of who we are lives inside of us.
It does.
You could change the clothes. You could try to change the music. You could try to change the demographic of the community. If there's somebody that's a native to this community, you're gonna be able to spot them. You can see how they move. You can hear it in their voice. They're native
You know
here.
what's evidence of that?
Mm-hmm.
When I took my son to his first second line at 18 months, well, when he could walk, as soon as the music came on.
Bet he start moving. It's in them. And there's a certain way we move here. Like everybody else on the 1 and the 3,
help
we on the
yourself.
2 and the 4. Like
Noah Stewart.
there's the way we move here.
Noah Stewart is one of the few arias, major black opera leads.
Yeah.
And Noah's from New York, right? And they did Toscano here at Mahalia Jackson several years ago. And I asked him, right, because the brother came on the show, great brother, and he likes to use New Orleans musicians. And I asked him why he spent so much time here, why he's come to New Orleans. He said, just because you said. He said, it's a different beat. It's rhythmic. And there's just something about New Orleans that's so indigenous that keeps him grounded in terms of who he is as a musician. And that's just what he said.
There's the rhythm here is unlike any other place. And everybody knows it. I mean, even when you go on social media, you have people trying to imitate the way we speak because they like it.
Yeah.
You know, anywhere you go, they like say baby.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But yeah.
And we like, what? You know?
But
it's,
yeah. I think about the late Bishop Blakes, man. How you doing, baby?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How you doing, baby?
Yeah.
Hey, baby,
That was my pastor's mentor.
How you doing, baby? Yeah, and
Yeah.
he couldn't help himself.
It's New
right
Orleans,
in the middle of a sermon.
New Orleans
baby,
is
you
special.
all right in the front row?
New Orleans is special.
Yeah.
How else can you paint an entire city? Those people are out there with their own brass band. Like
Yeah.
what? Like there was a guy, I happen to know who he is, Joshua Craig. He was at the door of the dome in Dallas
Right.
telling the people it's time to get out. Like I've been waiting at this door for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Y'all, it's time to go. How you putting the people out their own stadium? That's a New Orleanian for
It's
you.
time for y'all to leave.
It's time for y'all to go.
I was the speaker year before last for the 504 group. Was it last year? Year before the 504 group in Houston. Gala. Man, I've been a couple years. 1,000 people, man. 1,000 people come out.
Mm-hmm.
They got Zulu, second line band. They pack
Everybody
the
wants
ballroom
some
in
part of
Houston.
504.
They packed the ballroom in Houston.
I'm not surprised. It's something that's very attractive about this city.
Uh-huh.
And the crazy thing is we don't recognize the depth of its beauty. Everybody else can see it.
Right.
That's why they flock here and they want to take over because
Right.
they see it.
Right.
But when you're here, when you come out the soil here, you don't recognize it for all of its intricacies and all of its beauty. We often need other people to validate
Right.
how beautiful we are.
That's right.
Before we see it for ourselves.
Yeah.
But we better wake up.
Yeah, we better wake
Because I'm telling you, NOLA ain't playing.
Yeah, Nola's trying to change New Orleans.
NOLA ain't playing. I'm from New Orleans. I don't subscribe to that foolishness. My dog name is NOLA. It's about as NOLA as you gonna get with me. I'm from New Orleans. And we have to protect that at all costs.
No doubt about it. Well, we got a great show lined up. We're going to talk to Selwyn Jones, who's George Floyd's uncle, about Hope 929 organization, a charity focused on promoting civil rights and creating change in honor of his nephew, George Floyd. And at 8 o'clock, man, we got all things Six Flags, Bayou Development, that host Bayou Phoenix Development. So we're going to lead the lead developer, Troy Henry, in where is that piece and sharing information with the public. And, of course, we'll mix in a whole lot of other stuff. Kamala Harris still riding that high. I was watching some of the national news. She's now 2 more points or 6 points ahead. But don't get comfortable, everybody.
No, because these the states that are still on the fence are still on the fence. They still up for grabs. Yeah. She did didn't she just have a speech in Philly, in Philadelphia? So, people were talking about that, and they just want her to be more to the point about what her plans are in terms of the economy. But,
right.
I think there's a lot of strategy going on with how she's answering these questions.
Well, yeah, and
that's what I don't think people are recognizing. It's a lot of strategy.
I think she's run the perfect campaign for her. So think about it, right? She's beating a person who was the president before, who touted himself as this know-it-all, be-it-all, have all the answers. And she used that against him. The way he was baited during the debate.
Yes.
And the fact that he can't even follow the advice of his plan. This man got shot and lost that and lost that support.
And apparently somebody tried to shoot him again.
One of his own people.
Yeah, one of his own people. He voted for him at the last
election. He's like, this man's so bad.
And he said he is not pleased with the direction he's going.
Right.
And the CNN correspondent said he can't stay on message long enough to even, gain any momentum from the things that are happening around his campaign.
I know we're going to break, but if I can be we got a minute, it's 30 seconds, I can be a little funny with you. Kamala did to him what sisters will do to you. They'll flip it back on you.
And she almost seasoned her words on that debate. So that big long pause, everybody knew what she wanted to say.
You argue with a sister on her game, it'll make you think, well, maybe she's right. Go ahead on,
put belt to bottom, as Plies would say.
The neck didn't twitch, but the words did. Hey, when we come back, The Hope 929 organization, Selwyn Jones, leading this right to focus on civil rights, man, especially in honor of the late George Floyd. We'll be back after the break. Whose station?
Our station.
It's our station, babe.
Hey y'all, it's Chef Bunny, and I'm the host of The Roo, where we will be discussing all things food and NOLA. You can catch me live on air Thursdays at 12:30 p.m., so check out what we'll be cooking up on WBOK 12:30 a.m.
Welcome back to school, families and scholars. NOLA Public Schools is excited to kick off another exciting year of learning, growth, and success. Our dedicated teachers have been preparing all summer to provide an engaging and enriching experience for every student. Let's embrace new challenges, celebrate achievements, and make this school year the best one yet. Stay connected with your school and NOLA PS by visiting our social media channels. Here's to a year filled with curiosity, creativity, and community. Attend today, achieve tomorrow.
New Orleans Burlesque is back. The Red Light District, located on the second floor of your New Orleans headquarters by Nice Guys, presents a captivating, international, award-winning burlesque experience that will leave you breathless. Indulge in the sounds of our Grammy Award-winning quartet and exceptional food pairings each and every Saturday. To purchase tickets, visit Eventbrite.com, and remember, what happens in the Red Light District stays in the Red Light District.
Delgado Community College offers programs in business, technology, health sciences, and the arts. With over 100 career-focused degrees and certificates that are affordable, flexible, and transferable, we can give you the knowledge and skills to succeed. Delgado is a great fit if you're starting your post-high school education, or we can help you advance or change your career. Take a step toward being unstoppable at Delgado Community College. Visit dcc.edu to learn more today.
Tune in every Wednesday at 12 noon to What's Growing New Orleans. Hosted by Angel Vanderpool, What's Growing New Orleans is a weekly conversation about developing and growing Black businesses throughout the region. Brought to you by the New Orleans Regional Black Chamber of Commerce.
Hello, I'm Gary Clark. Please tune in to Dr. Clark 101, The Living Classroom, which is broadcasted weekly every Wednesday at 12:30 p.m. on WBOK 12:30 a.m. on your dial. And as always, it's been a pleasure.
Making a difference in the community. WBOK 12:30 a.m.
Good morning, wake up.
The Good Morning Show.
Good morning.
On WBOK 12:30 a.m.
We are back. That's right. Dr. Shanta Wyatt holding it down. Yeah, hold on a second. But you know what? That's what a foundation does, right? Mm-hmm. You can build on a foundation. Yeah. That's what Dr. Wyatt's done. OT and Early Bird. So let's get to our guest. Line number 1. Welcome to Selwyn Jones. Welcome to the Good Morning Show here at WBOK in New Orleans.
Good morning. Good morning. It seems like y'all already smoking hot, man. Throwing some smoke.
Well, you know, it don't take much. You know, I set up the kindling and Dr. Wyatt like the fire.
Oh yeah, Mama hot, man. Mama is Mama bringing
in more
the
ways
bar.
than one. No doubt it, Mr. Jones. Well, first of all, how are you doing, Mr. Jones?
You know, man, considering that it's 7 o'clock in the morning and I haven't even had my donuts yet, I'm okay, brother. I'm okay.
Yeah, well, man, that's good. You know, I always tell folk, you know, the opposite of getting up is not getting up. So anytime God gets you up,
anytime,
that's something to celebrate, right?
I've got an 85-year-old sister that was hospitalized yesterday, and my nephew called me. So this is a beautiful day because she has Alzheimer's. She doesn't remember or know anybody's voice. And I asked her, I was like, girl, you know who you're talking to? She said, yeah, I'm talking to my baby Selwyn. So, hey, this is a beautiful day. Hallelujah.
It is. And first of all, you know that our families, all of us here at WBOK, but throughout the sound of my voice and all across this world, we appreciate what you and your family and your foundation, the Hope 929 organization, has done for promoting and protecting our rights, especially in lieu of what happened to your nephew. But for folk who may not know, let them share with them, please. What is the Hope 929 organization and what is its mission?
Hope 929's mission is to help disenfranchised families because there's a lot of disenfranchised families in this world. Now, keep in mind, they're not only black, and a lot of people mistake that. So all we're trying to do is to make a better world and give people an opportunity to move forward. We're building a housing complex in Harrison, Arkansas. We're building a call center in Harrison, Arkansas. We're going throughout the country, and we have created a program called Put the Guns Down, Pick Up the Weights, because there's a lot of situations where there's a lot of people that are shooting, and for 6 hours would put down the guns and pick up the weights. I know that I'm protecting somebody's son. I know I'm protecting somebody's brother because, man, there's chaos going on here. Just absolute chaos. And every day I hear something or somebody calls me and says, Uncle Selwyn, somebody just got killed by gun violence or police brutality. So all I'm trying to do, man, is make a better place and a better world by using a horrific situation because people don't realize how many George Floyds were they before there was my nephew.
Right.
So I don't fight for my nephew. I fight for the people that didn't get the media attention. Sabrina Foster out of New Orleans, Glenn Foster Jr., an ex-New Orleans football player, is a friend of mine.
Yes, yes.
So, and we talk all the time about how we can make a difference. And this is the only way that we can make a difference because the club that we're in is a death club. It's a club that nobody wants to be in. It's a club that nobody should be in. But I have this opportunity to make a difference and an impact. I'm riding this horse out, buddy. I'm riding her out because I didn't ask for this. But we haven't asked to be enslaved. We haven't asked to be disrespected. We haven't asked to be humiliated over the past 400 or 500 years. So whatever I can do to take a horrific situation and shine the light on all of these atrocities that happen to people of color, I'm trying to do, my man.
So Mr. Jones, post, I'm going to call you Uncle Selwyn, man.
Call me Uncle Selwyn.
Yeah, I think you everybody is uncle, especially with your mission, your cause, and your humanity. Post what happened to George Floyd, we saw a lot of criminal justice reform. There were efforts at accountability. We saw states adopt a lot of changes. But in the last couple of years, we've seen a lot of those changes and reforms rolled back. We've seen a lot of the movement, especially for criminal justice reform, under attack in state legislatures, right, and by many conservative groups. What do you say for something that was done, especially even right here in Louisiana? We're rolling back $147 million in savings, right, with all of these tough on crime packages that don't create safer communities. What do you in Hope 29 say about these efforts around the country to reverse the change that you guys brought about with your nephew's death?
Man, all you can do is keep fighting and keep battling. We have a medical civil rights bill that I am promoting that states that a police officer has to give you medical attention, which in a timely fashion. And most of the time, that does not happen. They need to be able to assess whether this is a drunk call or this is a mental health issue or this is just a bad person. And once we get this bill passed state by state, that takes away their opportunity to make a mistake because we need something that's going to have accountability because reality is there's been two times the death of people after George than before George. And that's absolutely insane, my man, that things are escalating. One of the saddest things I've done in the last 4 years, and I've been to about 50 funerals, is we had a rally for Sonia Massey. And to look in her mother's eyes and to say, I'm sorry, broke my heart. Because when Grayson knocked on that door, just as Lane knocked on the door of my nephew in the car, that had nothing to do with de-escalation. It was all escalating. If you go back and you watch when Lane knocked on that door for my nephew, he was aggressive, he was derogatory, he was nasty, he was disrespectful. And when Grayson knocked on that door of Miss Massey, he asked her, "What's wrong with you?" Right then, he knew that there was a mental health issue. His power and control took advantage of that woman because of the hatred that he has in his heart for people that were black and brown. And he did exactly what he said he was going to do to her. And to look at these videos and to meet these parents and to know that no matter how much that we fight, we're not going to get back somebody that we love. It's gut wrenching, man, because I saw the look in her eyes when that was coming at her, and it's just absolutely horrifying to continuously see these things happen time after time after time. And all these people, most of these people that are in these situations, the two cases in Milwaukee, mental health issues. They're criminalizing mental health, and they're treating them like they're criminals instead of people being sick and having emotional issues at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So, man, you know, I'm fighting. You know, I've changed grieving into activism, and that's all I know how to do. Because when I saw, when you wake up in the morning, like we're waking up today, nice, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, sometimes you don't realize that people take that for granted. But I woke up one morning, and I was sitting and I was watching the television, and I just saw Ahmaud Arbery and Breonna Taylor get murdered by cops. Mm-hmm. And I'm sitting and I'm watching television, and I'm seeing this dude getting just totally pummeled on television. And he's hollering and he's screaming. And I'm feeling, and I live in South Dakota, so there's no sisters or brothers around. I'm the only black person I see when I look in the mirror, you know, in months. And I'm thinking, wow, won't somebody help this dude, man? I'm like, why they got to do this?
So
sorry and empathy.
Yeah. So in the 4 years since your nephew's murder, do you think enough has been done, and what more can be done, and specifically, especially, that you guys are focused on?
No, there hasn't been done. Conclusion, to look at something and to feel sorry about what you're saying, and then to realize it's your nephew, that broke my heart. The work that we're doing is to make an impact and a difference. Laws need to be changed. Prime example, Grayson that killed Sonia Massey. Would you hire somebody that was convicted of child molestation to work in your daycare? Absolutely not. He'd worked at 6 different police precincts in the last 2.5 years. He had 2 DUIs. That's a time bomb that's going to explode. Derek Chauvin, 18 different write-ups in 10 years. That's a time bomb. That's a ticking time bomb that's going to explode. We need to have mental health issues. We need to have mental health evaluation with police officers. We need to have different hiring practices. To jump back to the mental health evaluations, they have mental health evaluations once a year. That needs to be once every 3 months, at least, once every month. And if you find yourself in an altercation or in a violent encounter with anybody, you need to be set to the side and made sure that your mental health is correct. Because it's got to be stressful to shoot somebody. It's got to be stressful to hurt somebody. But at the rate of how they're going, it seems like it's mandatory. So the escalation process isn't even a factor now because they go for Tyreek Hill. Look at that. You know, that could have gone ugly. And he says it. If I wasn't Tyreek Hill, how bad could that have gone?
Mm-hmm.
If he wasn't Tyreek Hill, imagine what we would have been saying today. Imagine.
So Selwyn, do you believe that we'll ever see the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act?
Mama, did you hear me mention the medical civil rights bill?
Yes.
That is what will be in place before the George Floyd Policing Act. I'm not a politician, but all I can say is this. My family followed a lot of people around during that last election, and they were promised that we would get that bill passed, and that bill has yet to be passed.
And the crazy thing about it, when I hear you say the Medical Civil Rights Act, it is my understanding that in every police force around this country, they have a duty to render aid to people no matter what the circumstances are. So it's just baffling to me that we have to create policy to be able to push them to do what they're already sworn to do, which is to serve and to protect. And so I'm just confused at how and why is it always an additional level or additional threshold that Black folk have to meet before we have equity in any sort of lane here, especially in policing. Police have a duty to render aid. It's baffling to me.
No, not in a timely fashion. Not in a timely fashion, and that's the bad part.
Yes,
a lot of people think these things are just natural, or given, or common. They're not. A police officer can step to you as I'm going to use Ahmaud Arbery. A police officer can step to you, shoot you, and 15 minutes later, as they're trying to get their story straight, a police officer said, "Hey, man, you know this guy's breathing." He would have been living. When George Floyd hollered, "I can't breathe," when Eric Gardner hollered, "I can't breathe," they were supposed to subdue them, set them up in a prone position, and give them medical assistance in a timely fashion, not 15 minutes later. Michelle Massey,
Sonia
Massey, when that dude walked through the door, and instead of him saying, "What's wrong with you?" he knew that was a medical crisis. He knew that was a medical issue. Set her to the side, handcuff her, put her on the side, and give her medical attention instead of shooting her in the face. So, yeah, the George Floyd Policing Act would have to be watered down so bad that it wouldn't be worth the paper it's written on. And think about this. A lot of people think when laws are passed federally, they mean something. They don't mean anything, dear, because the DEA, the FBI, yeah. But unless it's passed state to state, it does not affect us.
Uncle Selwyn, I want to take you to something that they've called for quite some time, always back, since the Algiers 7 here in New Orleans to the George Floyd Act, to what happened with their nephew, and for the last several decades. What we know now is that federal FBI, the federal law enforcement agencies, they don't compile data on police incidents. They don't have a database on officers that have been involved in brutal cases of firings. That would be very easy. They got data on us.
ProPublica did a whole story here.
Yeah, they got data on us, that. Whether we pay our taxes or what we say on the phone. But they don't have a federal database. The FBI doesn't compile that. on law enforcement officials. That it seems to me that would be easy, where you could punch in an officer's name, you could see whether they. Where
Go ahead, man. Go
they
ahead.
keep track of our traffic citations and everything like that. So
it seemed to me that would be an easy one, especially since everything is AI and digital, and I mean they know
technology.
Yeah, I mean everyday citizens are tracked, but not law enforcement officials,
especially those who are committing crimes.
I got something.
Right?
I got something good for you. Got something good for you.
Talk to us.
Are you ready for me?
Talk to us,
me? Y'all was smoking hot earlier. I'm finna get really.
Oh no, this is what we do here. This is what me and Doc
I love it.
do.
I love it. I love it. I have created an app called MythCop, and what it is, it's a prevention app.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say that one of y'all got stopped, and the other two of us are your emergency contacts. You hit that panic button, it alerts you. It's visual and audio, so they can't distort your video, so we know where we are.
Mm-hmm.
And now on one part of that, on one portion of that app, we're able to get the last four digits of that police officer, and we punch that in, so we know who we're dealing with. Let's talk about it. You know, so we can have this protection around us. There's a camera that we can mount in our car, because when a lot of those bad folks stop us, they don't want us to have the phone in our hand.
Right.
You can Bluetooth this to that camera in your car, and you will be protected. Most parents pay for their kids going to college phone bills. Guess what? Mom and daddy can make sure you're protected. That's called the Myth app, kids. Everything that y'all have been talking about, I think about that. My job is literally, I sit and I think, how can I make black and brown and all people safer from police brutality? Because it just ain't police brutality. Jackson, Mississippi, there's been 115 homicides in Jackson, Mississippi. Why is there so much gun violence? Why can't people negotiate their attitudes from life or death? How bad is it in New Orleans? Do y'all have this many craziness in New Orleans?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, for the longest, we led the nation in per capita murder for a long time. We've had a downward trend, but historically, this has been a very violent city. And when I mentioned the Algiers 7, it was a case where people were killed here by police officers, and we've had several incidents over time. Yeah,
I've got a lot of cases there. Arlene, Reed Jr.
Mm-hmm.
I've got several cases. Glenn Foster. So we know y'all busy down there, man. We know y'all busy, but that's okay.
Well, let me say this too. A lot of the issues, particularly in this city where I live, are systemic. They're not just by happenstance. They're systemic. And until we address the systemic causes for why there's so much gun violence, we're going to continue thinking that it's just people, not being able to handle themselves and picking up weapons and killing each other. The question I would have is, why are our children, 14 and 15-year-olds, having access to military-grade weaponry? And those are not things that are just happening in poor communities. We don't have the infrastructure in these poor communities to figure out how to get AK-47s and assault rifles into these communities. They're coming somehow. They're here. Somebody's bringing them. It's happening, right? But I also want to mention about Javion McGee. I don't know if you've heard of his story, but that is something you guys probably should look into as well. He's a 21-year-old black guy who's a truck driver. They found him hung from a tree in North Carolina.
Guess where I'm at.
Where are you?
Dear, this is what I do every day, all day.
Yeah.
Guess where I'm from?
Where are you from?
North Carolina.
Well, yeah, I'm glad that that eyes are on it, because they're telling us that this guy went and purchased a rope from Walmart and decided to go hang himself in North Carolina.
A black person is not going to hang ourselves.
Well, I mean,
we're not going to hang ourselves.
And he was
and
found.
And we sure ain't going to buy no rope to hang ourselves.
But I mean, if it's easy, right, Oliver, they could just show us the footage from Walmart, right? Show us the tape.
You can Google it.
Yeah.
Hey, look, we're going
bring the video out.
We're going to break, and when we come back, we want to move forward. We're talking to Uncle Selwyn Jones. He's one of the co-founders of 929 Hope 929 organization. He's also the uncle of the late George Floyd. What we working on? How do we move forward after the break with Uncle Selwyn Jones? WBOK 1230 AM. Whose station?
Our station.
Hey, Uncle, it's our station. We'll be back after the break.
This is your news update for WBOK 1230 AM from WDSU. For all your news and weather, watch WDSU News, New Orleans' leader in live, local, late-breaking news. Today at noon and 4 p.m.
My friends swim no matter the season, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can sometimes take me out of the moment. Now, thanks to Skyrizi and clear skin, count me in. With Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
A message from the community scientist. Do you live or work in St. James, St. John, St. Charles, Ascension, Calcasieu, Baton Rouge, or St. Bernard parishes? If so, it's important for you to understand objective information about 1,3-butadiene, volatile organic compounds, methane, and mercury, and how they impact your health and the natural environment. The Community Scientist is a service program of Rise St. James. Learn more at risestjames.org.
Keep up with NOLA Public Schools through Education Elevation. Join Superintendent Dr. Avis Williams monthly as she shares district updates, celebrates schools, scholars, and more. Tune in every 4th Wednesday at 11:30 a.m.
The New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation is the nonprofit organization that owns the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival presented by Shell. With the funds generated from Jazz Fest, the foundation invests in Louisiana companies through economic development, cultural enrichment, and free educational programs. To learn more about what the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation does, please visit www.jazzandheritage.org.
Mom, meet Sarah.
From first-time Nana moments.
And welcome to Flight 101.
To annual girls trip moments. Your can't-miss moments are worth protecting against RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV. And there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com.
So where should we go next?
Sponsored by Pfizer.
Welcome to Liberty Bank and Trust, where your financial journey transforms communities. Since 1972, our customized banking solutions power your dreams and fuel your community growth. Every dollar you invest with us circles back to empower more people, ensuring opportunities for generations. Join us at Liberty Bank. Together, we empower possibility. Visit libertybank.net to start banking with purpose. Liberty Bank, there's freedom here.
Good morning, Wake Up.
The Good Morning Show.
Good morning.
On WBOK 1230 AM.
We are back, man. The Hope 929 organization, its co-founder. Shout out to Liz Darden, Chris Johnson, Pam Davis, Cindy Wagner, and J.C. Crawford, the team with Uncle Selwyn Jones. We're going to break. We were talking about a whole bunch of stuff. Me, you, and Doc White, and went from
I know.
the mission. So so in the last 8 minutes, so what are we working on, and how can we help you here in New Orleans? Give us some direction. Let's talk about the issues and give us some direction.
Okay. First of all, I need to jump back for a second. She said that we need to worry about how the guns are getting in New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I want to just say this and I'll move on. The guns are getting in New Orleans like crack got into the black neighborhoods in the late 80s and early 90s.
Yeah, we know that.
And we know how, and we know we supported the war with the destruction of our black and brown people.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay.
somehow or another, how do we move forward? Communication, conversation, education, and motivation. Like I said, we've got a couple of events that we put on, put the guns down, pick up the weights, and it's more of a community going. I want to take the community back to the church. I want to put the church back in the community because the church and the community have been missing for quite a long time.
Uncle Sam, one of our mental health experts, we do a segment here called Mentally Speaking every month. Before mental health was trending, we started this show 11 years ago. And he just texted me, Victor Sims. He's the co-host of Mentally Speaking along with Dr. White and I. He says police should be stress tested at least every 6 months, and some psychological evaluation of their responses to stress, especially after there's any type of incident that occurs. Do you agree with Mr. Sims?
Heck yeah, because you cannot control how people react in an anxiety-filled situation.
Uh-huh.
So, yes, I totally agree. Now, I wish Doc was – man, we got to do a mental health show. We really do, because I need to talk to Doc. Because have you ever heard the terminology excited delirium?
Yes.
Yeah.
That almost makes me laugh when I hear that. That almost makes me laugh when I hear that they're giving labels to us now because a black man is mad and angry that we have extra strength, extra human strength. Therefore, we have heart attacks and remember the Daryl Gates with Rodney King? He said that black people die quicker when you put the knee on their neck because our veins are smaller. So there's so many things that come up that people want to make light of because of the aggressiveness that these officers use upon coming in contact with suspects. So mental health stress tests, mental health evaluations, de-escalation programs they should go through. Whatever it takes for them to stop killing black and brown people, we should apply to them. But reality is this: if that's what you were taught, if that's how you feel, it don't matter how much training or how much teaching you got. What you do sometimes is what you're going to do all the time.
Well, because here's my point. I, as a person that is heavy into activism myself, I can tell you that police officers at their discretion know exactly how to restrain themselves. They know exactly how to police when they want to police in a way that honors humanity of people. We don't see what is happening to black folk happening in other communities and other demographics of people. So it's not a training issue. This is a real issue that is systemic, and it's inside of the culture of policing all across this country, because we've seen school shooters be taken to Burger King unharmed, right? We've seen the people shoot up the church be taken in unharmed. And then you have a guy such as George Floyd, who was accused of using a counterfeit $20 bill, and he died. So this is not just about, they need to understand mental health, and they need to understand this is about a choice that they're making. And this is a tale of two policing systems, clearly, because we've seen them do what they're supposed to do when the person doesn't look like you and I. So is this really a matter of training, or is this a matter of people who have ulterior motives and they go join police forces so they can get away with killing black folk?
Mama, I told you was on fire. I told you was on fire. That young man that shot up that school in Georgia, where is he at today?
He's alive.
Oh, with his daddy.
Yes.
In the jail cell. In the jail cell. That is where it's different, dear. There's two set of rules. The slave patrol was made to capture black people and deliver them back home to their so-called plantations. It's the same mentality, dear. The prison systems are farm camps. Prison systems make money for states. The average prisoner will make their state on work release for jobs in the prison when the federal government pays them $5,000 a month.
Well, we know, and to Oliver's point, that is why we need a database that tracks the behavior of these officers, because you should not be able to commit murder, because in most cases this is murder, and then apply at a parish 2 counties over and get a job. Right? And so I just don't understand why there's not a national database that keeps track of the officer's track record and what he's done on the force wherever he comes from. Because we've seen it right here in our state, in our city, where an officer can commit a crime and leave one parish and go to another parish and get hired. But if there was a database where chiefs of police and sheriff's offices can check, that goes deeper than just a traditional background check, we would be better off, because we will know what they've done.
There is a database.
So we're just we're not using it?
I'm sure there's a database. I'm sure there's a database. People are selective, and birds of a feather flock together.
Well,
think about that.
Well, Uncle Selwyn Jones, first of all, thank you. Any other initiatives that you guys are going to be putting forward? Are you going to try to get back to the George Floyd Act, or is that dormant for now? Anything else we can begin to rally around?
You know, man, we need to get the rallying around change, around hope. Because if there's no hope, there's no change, and we need a lot of change in all communities.
Right,
is what we need. So, you know, man, we will definitely stay in contact.
Okay.
Because and people can always find me on Facebook, Instagram, and you can always Google Uncle 929. That's my uncle929.org. That's my website, man. We're gonna keep moving.
Don't forget to mention your podcast now. Setting it straight with Selwyn,
man. You know, we gotta set it straight.
Yeah.
We talk. I don't have to smoke like y'all got going here, because y'all be smoking it up, man. I love it.
Well, that's what we do.
All I know is this: you have to dream, breathe, and now it's deliverance time.
But it's also that's why black media is important, and I hope you begin to tell some of these national foundations and organizations they need to support black media outlets. We're dying. We don't get the financial support like many others do. In many cases, it's because we deal with issues like this that are important. Uncle Selwyn?
And they don't like that. They don't like that.
You promise to come back?
I promise to come back. I got your number.
All right,
we'll talk and we'll get some support. And I'm going to be in New Orleans. When I get there, I'm hollering at y'all. We're going to go eat some etouffee. We're going to go eat some crawdad.
You know, in New Orleans, the interpretation for holler at you means come see you. So we're going to be looking for you.
Come see you, brother.
We're going to be looking for Uncle Selwyn Jones, Hope 929 organization, in honor of his nephew doing big things, trying to change the culture of violence that exists between our law enforcement and our everyday citizens. God bless you, Uncle Selwyn.
God bless you.
We'll be back after the break, man. When we come back, man, we're going to talk all about things Bayou Phoenix, Six Flags, developer, Bayou Phoenix, lead developer, Troy Henry, one of the co-owners, WBOK. Whose station?
Our station.
It's our station, y'all.
WBOK 1230 AM New Orleans. Home of the Good Morning Show, 7 to 9 a.m. weekdays.
This news report is brought to you by New Schools for New Orleans. I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. The FBI is investigating an apparent assassination attempt on Donald Trump at his West Palm Beach Golf Club Sunday. Palm Beach County Sheriff Rick Bradshaw reported that U.S. Secret Service agents engaged the man near the Trump International Golf Course armed with an AK-style rifle equipped with a scope. Calls to poison control centers about children drinking energy drinks are up 20%. Data out shows there were more than 2,800 calls in 2023. Energy drinks contain higher levels of caffeine than soda or coffee and can cause problems for children. Tito Jackson is dead at the age of 70. Entertainment Tonight reporting that Jackson passed away Sunday, with a longtime Jackson family friend and former family manager telling the publication it's believed Jackson suffered a heart attack. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network, and BINnews.com.
Celebrating hardworking teachers of New Orleans Public Schools is what we do best. Join New Schools for New Orleans, Allstate, Sugar Bowl, and Integer New Orleans in recognizing and celebrating the Teachers of the Year at our 3rd annual New Orleans Excellence in Teaching Awards Gala. If you want to check out the awardees and the schools where they teach at, please visit Noeta, Noeta.org. You can also purchase tickets to the gala via the website too. Let's send these teachers some love for all the hard work they do with our students.
It's Off the Top with Norman Robinson on WBOK 1230 AM.
You know, there are some people who just light up your heart with a feeling of grace, peace, and comfort when you're in their presence. Mrs. Sybil Heidel Morial was such a person. With her recent passing, I am reminded of just how much she meant to the nation, the state, and her beloved city of New Orleans. Her quiet grace and eloquence belied her fierce resolve to wage a relentless battle in the fight for civil rights and human justice. It is well documented that she became the first African-American First Lady upon the election of her husband Dutch as the first African-American mayor of the Crescent City. But Sybil was a warrior in her own right. She fought alongside her husband as they together battled against the scions of bigotry and racial hatred. She would chronicle the death threats that she and Dutch received when he was president of the New Orleans NAACP in her memoir, Witness to Change: From Jim Crow to Political Empowerment. When denied a membership in the League of Women Voters because she was African American, Mrs. Morial formed an organization to help blacks vote. She was among the first to test the anti-integration policy against blacks attempting to enroll at both Tulane and Loyola universities. Neither accepted her as a student at the time because she was African American. A lifelong educator with 2 degrees from Boston University, she successfully challenged the statute prohibiting public school teachers from being involved in any organization advocating civil rights. Inasmuch as she and Dutch were champions of the civil rights movement, Sybil was also a guiding force for family, helping Dutch raise 5 children, including Mark Morial, who would follow in his father's footsteps, also becoming mayor of New Orleans, and a daughter, Monique Morial, who is an Orleans Parish judge and was recently elected to the 4th Circuit Court of Appeals without opposition. I shall miss Mrs. Morial, seeing her face, hearing her voice, forever reminding me of the power of grace, elegance, eloquence, dignity, and quiet resolve in the face of challenge and duress. My sincere gratitude and heartfelt condolences to the Morial and Heidel families. This is Norman Robinson, Off the Top.
Good morning, Wake Up.
The Good Morning Show.
Good morning.
On WBOK 1230 AM.
We are back, 4 minutes past the top of the hour. We want to thank Uncle Selwyn and the Hope 929 organization, man. Good luck on not only criminal justice reform, but police law enforcement accountability, especially in encounters with our citizens. And we know that the George Floyd Act has been stalled, but the mental health movement, we wish y'all the best and continue. We look forward to future conversations, Dr. White and I, with the Hope 929 organization. But right now, WBOK inside the studio is one of the lead developers of the Six Flags project, the co-development leader, Mr. Troy Henry, for the Bayou Phoenix team. Welcome back to the Good Morning Show.
Thank you, Councilman. Thank you. And
now, this is OT, is the talk show host.
Oh, that's right,
yeah,
OT.
Thank you. The councilman doesn't start till 9.
You don't put that cape on.
9:01.
9:01 is when you start?
Yeah,
okay, all right. Oh,
9:01.
So this is good. Thanks for having me again. I was just here helping with Glenn and Kimba.
Yeah.
You know, with filling in for the reality check because Gerard was traveling, the whole thing. But it's good to kind of be back to normal. Now we've got a tower that's working again here.
That's excellent.
So our terrestrial as well as our streaming is working back online. So
it's good. Well, that's what a team does. You got utility players, people fill in, and that's the good thing.
Yeah.
About what we do here is we do what needs to be done to make it happen. So let's talk about Bayou Phoenix for folk who may not know, because they'll get confused. Bayou Phoenix, Six Flags,
Jazzland.
Yeah. Explain what is Bayou Phoenix.
So Bayou Phoenix is, first of all, the company that is responsible for the development of the former Jazzland Six Flags property. We actually coined the name just when we were putting in our proposal to the city. If you recall, the city had a procurement. I think they had 9 bidders that were all bidding to redevelop that property that's been derelict since Hurricane Katrina. And so we use that as a term because we thought of it as it's near the bayou and it's Phoenix, meaning rising from the ashes again. So we put in our proposal and we went through. First, we were one of the top 3. Then they went down. We were one of the top 2. And then we ended up getting selected as the development partner of the city to redevelop that site. And so then since then, we've had to negotiate a lease with one of the city agencies, New Orleans Redevelopment Authority. And now we have a lease. And last October, we signed that lease. And now we're in the pre-development process associated with getting this derelict property back into commerce in a real positive, constructive way.
So let's walk back to the beginning, because I think it's important. I think the journey here, and it's been quite some time, I think it's important for people to know the history. The city, in its attempt for the last several decades, especially post Hurricane Katrina, have been unsuccessful.
Yes.
Finding, or not even finding a developer, but even making a deal, right? Getting to a lease.
Yep.
Getting to the possibility of getting it done. But this journey wasn't easy. You guys were competing against iconic football figure.
Drew Brees.
Drew Brees and his Demario Davis.
Demario Davis, that's right.
And their team. But is it safe to say that though the city eventually signed a lease with you guys, it was a community that really spoke up and picked
by far?
Bayou Phoenix?
It was apparent to us from Jump Street that the city really wanted Drew Brees to win this project. And but what they were offering. Look, I live across the freeway from that Six Flags site. What they were proposing to do was hydroponic farming, which is a highfalutin word for growing marijuana. And the neighbors didn't want that to be the replacement for that Six Flags, which was a source of joy, amusement, family entertainment. And so what they really wanted, and I talked to my neighbors about it, is they wanted something that was going to be a positive that could really uplift the entire community. And boy, I tell you, the community really got behind us. They had one meeting where they asked the residents to participate, and I think out of the 320 votes, we got 308. And between Drew Brees and another company, Citus, they got the remaining, I think it was 12 votes. So it was an overwhelming consensus that we were, and what we were proposing was the best choice for the community. And we think actually it's a more strategic choice for the city because, New Orleans hasn't been known as a family entertainment location. It's really known for its, with Bourbon Street and adult entertainment.
Right.
So to be able to put in place a venue that now really unites families and brings families to New Orleans, and then also provides a resource for families that are in New Orleans. We just thought it was a better solution to the site, and we also thought it was going to be more lucrative because now you add the 20 million visitors to New Orleans, and then you take another 500,000 to 1 million visitors that we're hoping that we can get there, and it's just added to. It doesn't take from. It's not a competition with Bourbon Street or downtown. It's really an amenity we've never had that now we'll have for the first time. So it's pretty cool.
Listen, I think so too. And, you know, a lot of the times when we hear about the issues that are happening around the youth, the very first thing you hear is there's nothing for them to necessarily do.
That's right.
And when there are things to do for a family that has multiple children, it's extremely expensive.
Yes.
So to have something like what you're proposing come to fruition is going to fill that gap as well, to say, well, here's some things you can do as a family where the kids can come, and you don't have to overlap that adult entertainment with things that are for children.
Now, I will tell you, Doc, one of the things that's going to be your next business that you're going to be venturing into is all of these parents that are coming to New Orleans for travel sports at Bayou Phoenix.
Yes.
They're all going to want to go hang out in the French Quarters at night.
Yeah.
So you're going to get this babysitting business
Listen,
going.
I'm always one thing. Listen, I kid you not. There's a building in this city that everybody knows that I have my eye on.
Okay.
And I really wanted to make it a 24-hour daycare, especially in the area where it is, where the building is, because there's no child care offerings in that area. There's no schooling, no after-school programming in that area. And I'm about that life.
Like
I love the children. And I'm degreed. I'm qualified.
Yes.
Bring me your kids. You know what I mean? So I'm already thinking, look. So
we're gonna work that out.
Let's work that out.
All right,
I guarantee you can make something happen.
So let's keep walking down this road. Selected by the community.
Yes.
Right.
And then a committee.
And then the committee, especially because the community really wanted that type of development. Mostly local. I mean, you guys are
all local.
You guys are a local development team.
Correct.
Talk about that advantage, or what some folk call the disadvantage, in terms of local development.
Well, you know, it helped us formulate. Being local helped us formulate the offerings. Mm-hmm. We kind of knew what the community wanted, and more importantly, what they didn't want, because over the years post-Katrina, there's been developers that's trying to do all kind of experimental stuff in New Orleans East, all kind of kooky stuff that wouldn't add value to the community, would just add money to these development pockets. And we wanted something that would be both civically responsible, but at the same point in time, would be lucrative for the development team. We're not doing this for,
business.
Community service, right?
It's business.
And so, it gave us the pulse, and us being a pulse for the community, it made us more responsive to the needs of it. So my CFO has a daughter who is a big, avid travel volleyball player. And he was coming up with the ideas. We were talking to our partners, TKTMJ, Henry Consulting, and TKTMJ are the two companies that formed Bayou Phoenix. Mm-hmm. And my CFO came in, and he's traveling to Orlando and different places with his daughter. Every month going somewhere. And he said, man, this travel sports thing is really big. And as we started digging into it a little bit more, we started realizing, I took a trip to Indianapolis to go watch the Saints play, actually, up there, and got a chance to see their facility. And we began to realize that this could be something that would be an anchor component to the New Orleans East Development Project. Then we also knew that there was these film tax credits that were going on here. So we said we needed something for the weekdays that would also draw people to the site that the weekends travel sports would draw on the weekends. And so the film tax credits and movie studios, and we understood there wasn't enough demand, enough capacity to handle more and more filming and TV and all of the streaming services that would need it. So we sort of began putting together these concepts. At the same time, my wife and I had visited my kids, we visited a couple of, I've got some younger kids and some older kids, right? So my now 10 and 11-year-olds, they love these little water parks. So we were doing these indoor hotel water park. We went to Kalahari. We went to Great Wolf Lodge. We went to Gaylord in Texas. We went to the one in Nashville. And so as we started seeing this, we said, we don't have anything like that here in New Orleans. And so all we did was took things that we saw that were working well in other communities, sort of smushed them all together and said, wouldn't this be a great destination for the city of New Orleans? And that's how we came up with the concept for the venue. We kind of water tested it across the community, and the community absolutely and still loves what we've proposed.
We got a caller, 504-582-9422. Mr. Troy Henry, lead developer for the Bayou Phoenix Six Flags Jazzland Project Line Number 1. Good morning, Mr. James. God bless you, man. You're on with Mr. Henry.
Good morning, Mr. Henry. I often call, and good morning to you too, Oliver, and the good doctor. I'm sorry.
Good morning.
I often call when you're on, and I try to impress upon you that this city would benefit greatly, this state would benefit greatly from Bayou Phoenix having a set of competition swimming pools.
Yes.
Indoor, outdoor, indoor in particular for big meets, for big swim meets. We were, my son is a coach now. I've coached, I've been a part of the swim world for the last 9 or 10 years, maybe even longer. Okay. It is a shame that the state is only partially funded the UNO swimming pool. Mm-hmm. We can barely get in across high school and youth league swimming, year-round league swimming. There are no pools in the area.
Mr.
There
James.
are no pools in the area.
Mr. James, I'm going to ask you because Mr. Coleman trained, if you remember, who grew up with in the Little Ninth Ward.
Yeah.
We're a great family, St. Aug graduate.
Yep.
His daughters were swimmer. His daughters were gold medal at AAU swimmers, right? And
I believe they came under Coach Shannon.
When you had this, that's where I'm going with this. When you had the Xavier Pool, New Orleans had world-class, especially youth swimmers who competed at the highest level. And we haven't had anything like that since we lost the Xavier Pool. Correct, Mr. James?
Yep. I'm telling you, we're about to lose another one. We've been trying to get in contact with Dillard. Okay. My son is actually in talks with Dillard to try to get the pool open for practice.
Okay.
We don't have any pools to practice in. The North facility some are geared towards it. Of course, some can be considered to be more gentrified now, like that Carrollton pool. It's a beautiful pool, but it's not open for practices or discussions about practice.
Right.
It's not open for competitions or discussion about competitions. There are a lot of people who are trying to keep their children busy and thinking about other things other than football, basketball, baseball. Soccer is starting to grow, but I'm mainly calling about these pools because we hurt, man. We all pile in at Suno and make it do the best we can, but for the most part, we using old country club pools to compete in across the swimming landscape. You guys we leave on a big meet on we get there on a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and we return Sunday. There is money in swimming.
Thank you, Mr. James.
Right.
Mr. Henry.
Yeah, it's a very interesting. I like the call because
he's consistent.
He's consistent. Right. We are actually currently negotiating with four different youth sportsplex providers, and one of the four of them is a big swimming advocate as well. In fact, they run the facility there's a comparable facility in Wellesley, Massachusetts.
Mm-hmm.
You know Wellesley.
Yeah, Wellesley College.
Well, not at the college, but it's a community right on Route 9, I think it is. And they have been a big advocate in a belief that there is a market here for competitive swimming facilities.
Well, we got enough water here.
Right. So, and one of the things that we've talked about is a different concept of, we got a fly in here. But anyway, we've got a concept that's, we'll have a lagoon, a 9-acre beach lagoon that would also be part of Bayou Phoenix, right? Now, one of the providers of the lagoon said it's possible to make a portion of the 9 acres laneable to make it competitive. So we've got a couple of different ways of addressing it, but it's outdoor. It's not an indoor facility. So we're looking at it. We think that swimming is we know that we're going to have water. We're going to have an indoor water park. We're going to have a Clearwater Beach lagoon. So we know we'll have some water venues. But I know what Mr. James is talking about. He's talking about competitive swimming venue. So we're looking at it as a potential venue. Go ahead.
Travel sports is a big deal. We're going to take a break. Dr. Wyden, OT, and Early Bird will be back. After this, we're talking all things Bayou Phoenix, Six Flags, Jazzland development. We got a company that has a lease. Now we're just waiting to see what's happening. We could dig into the mind and the plans of Mr. Troy Henry, one of the lead developers of the old site. After the break on WBOK 1230 AM. Whose station?
Our station.
Oh, it's our station.
New Schools for New Orleans wants to send a huge shout out to our teachers, school leaders, and students in NOLA Public Schools. We see you, we hear you, and we applaud your efforts. Be sure to tune in every Monday at 12:30 p.m. on 12:30 a.m. for Talk That NOLA Education.
Good morning and happy Monday. I'm Morgan Lentis with WDSU, and here's a look at today's headlines. Local reaction is pouring into the second apparent assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump. Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry posting on social media, quote, "Sharon and I are praying for President Trump and his family's continued safety." Senator Bill Cassidy also posting, quote, "We can appreciate the bravery of Secret Service agents and other law enforcement personnel and pray for the safety of President Trump and all Americans." Then a woman recovering after being shot in the Broadmoor area. New Orleans police say the shooting happened around 8 last night on College Court. The victim was shot at least once and taken to the hospital for treatment. There's no word on how she is doing this morning or if any arrests have been made. And happening today, New Orleans major utility companies are scheduled to address city leaders about their response to Hurricane Francine. We expect to hear from Entergy and the Sewerage and Water Board on how they were impacted by the storm. Tens of thousands lost power, and equipment failures were reported with the city's pumping system. Today's meeting is at 10 a.m. inside council chambers. Residents are urged to participate by submitting a public comment. And that's a look at today's headlines. I'm Morgan Lentis with WDSU. Have a great day.
Discover the Leah Chase School, NOLA Public Schools' first new direct-run traditional public school in nearly 2 decades. We offer excellence in math, science, English, and social studies, focusing on unlocking every child's potential. Every scholar receives a personal device, regular assessments, clear family communication, as well as transportation services in a nurturing, arts-inclusive environment. Secure your child's K through 5th grade slot today. Apply at enrollnolaps.com and embark upon a unique educational journey.
A message from the community scientist. Do you live or work in St. James, St. John, St. Charles, Ascension, Calcasieu, Baton Rouge, or St. Bernard parishes? If so, it's important for you to understand objective information about 1,3-butadiene, volatile organic compounds, methane, and mercury, and how they impact your health and the natural environment. The Community Scientist is a service program of Rise St. James. Learn more at risestjames.org.
Calling all college students. The National African American Insurance Association presents their free 2024 Career Fair and Expo September 17th and 18th. To register, go to NAAIA.national on Instagram and use the link in the bio.
Welcome to Liberty Bank and Trust, where your financial journey transforms communities. Since 1972, our customized banking solutions power your dreams and fuel your community growth. Every dollar you invest with us circles back to empower more people, ensuring opportunities for generations. Join us at Liberty Bank. Together, we empower possibility. Visit libertybank.net to start banking with purpose. Liberty Bank, there's freedom here.
Making a difference in the community. WBOK 1230 AM.
Good morning, Wake Up.
The Good Morning Show.
Good morning.
On WBOK 1230 AM.
past the top of the hour. We're here talking all things Bayou Phoenix, all things Six Flags, Jazzland. And that site, man, that has laid dormant for now a couple of decades, but that offers a lot of hope, I think, for the state when you talk about not only recreational and cultural activity, but a prime piece of real estate. One of the things during, I think, especially during this whole planning, there was a part of it that I was really intrigued by, that I had not heard or seen anyone do that analysis. And I think the first time you guys did it was at the unveiling of the first phase of the master plan at Franklin Avenue Church.
Yeah, good turnout.
And I thought that the study there really gave credence to why this development is important, not just for New Orleans, but for the state and the region. I think you guys did a study that showed that within 6-hour drive, based on what you guys were offering, there was very little, if any, competition at all. Yes. Talk about that piece, because I think it's important when you talk about viability and sustainability.
Yeah, if you go to other parts of the country and you look at youth sports facilities, and also when you look at water parks, indoor water parks, there aren't any, especially that combine the two. Now, recently Mobile created a place called OA, but that's it. You look at a 6-hour donut around it, there's nothing. And so most other communities, if you go to Wisconsin, the Dells portion of Wisconsin, I think they got 48 indoor water parks. So, and then the youth sports facilities are scattered, but none of them have brought them all together. And what we're doing is we're creating what we call it a destination, because you'll be able to go there if your kid's in a tournament, whether they're local or not. You might want to stay in the hotel, enjoy the water park, enjoy the family entertainment center, hang out on the beach, be able to do the things that, the arcade or family entertainment center. That's the kind of things that we envision people spending a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, check out on Sunday type of thing. And that's just going to be a real cool venue. And that's what we'll be doing. And so that type of venue, coupled with the attractiveness of New Orleans as a whole, we think in our
That's the draw. That's a big draw right there.
That's why they're beating down our doors.
They're coming to see her.
Yes. They're coming to beat down. They're beating our doors down to these different companies to be a part of this, because they get the vision. And we're pretty confident in that we hit the mark on this one.
It reminds me when you're talking of the ESPN complex. I don't know if because my son does travel, track and field.
Yes.
That's where they house all of the sports. In one building, you see volleyball going on.
That's correct.
There's baseball in a different season part of it, but the track, and it's all there.
That's correct.
Basketball, and they're making a killing because the draw is you're near the whole Walt Disney ambiance of it.
You get the full experience.
But then you're coming to watch all of these sports. And then when you come into the facility, the beauty is you can see everything. You can go for track, but then you can still watch volleyball. You can still watch basketball. So that's what it made me think of, because my son runs.
Yeah, sure.
And we're traveling everywhere. But the experience at the ESPN complex is unlike anything you've ever seen.
And we'll probably be a smaller version of that, but a very competitive version to that. We think makes, Orlando has got its attractiveness, but New Orleans has its as well.
Yes.
So we'll be one of the ones competing, like we compete for conventions now with Orlando. We think we'll be competing.
We'll be in the conversation.
We'll be in the conversation as it relates to major sporting events, tournaments, and things of that sort.
Another part of this development, I think that makes it attractive, other than just the use, but I think it gives the ability to get it done, is that it's interesting how the media tried to deal with it at first. Right? You had your critics. And they talked about the cost and scale of the project. But your team has devised a plan that says, well, we don't have to do a $600 million project all at once. You can phase it in. Talk about that part of it, because it debunks some of what we hear on other stations and other media critics who say, well, how them local people going to get their hands on $700 million? Well, Well, you don't need $700 million to start.
No, we don't. And the beauty of the way we've designed the venue is that each one of the, we'll call them tenants for the lack of a better term, but each of the tenants are different and unique. The Clearwater Beach folks are different than the Hotel Water Park folks, which are different than the Sportsplex folks, which are different than the retailers, which are different than the movie studio. So when you take it, each one of them has a unique structure of how they'll be paid for. For example, the movie studio says, we don't need y'all money at all for nothing. We got it. Just give us our dirt, our land. We'll take it from there. So there went $70 million out of the $500 million. Just boom, they took off the top. So each venue, the retailers, we expect the retailers, whether it's I don't know who it's going to be. It could be a Chick-fil-A or Dickie Chase or whatever it is. We expect them to either sign long-term leases and we'll build it, or they'll build it themselves and we'll lease them the dirt. So we've come up with a creative way of financing. Some of it we will finance. Some of it we will look to public-private partnerships for its financing. But the long and short of it is we're pretty confident that with the model that we have, the execution plan that we have, that we're able to do it. Now, the first phase of that is we're doing a demolition and we're financing the demolition ourselves. The development team is. We just want to get it knocked down. So we're hoping that by today or tomorrow we'll have our contract signed, and I hope they'll be demolishing by the end of the month.
Wow, let's go to lines. Line number 1, the mayor of the 9th Ward, Reverend Calhoun. You're on with Mr. Henry.
Good morning to all. Troy, I do appreciate all your efforts to bring real economic development into our area.
Thank you, Doc.
My question is the impact, local impact on contractors and electricians being hired. Your firm is going to control that, or is that going to be something that has to be done through the 30%, only 30% participation? Will the contractors of New Orleans, the people that live here, get an active and positive role in the building of this facility?
Great question.
Thank you, Rev. Calhoun.
Yes, the short answer is but let me be more specific. For example, the demolition contractor that we're finalizing negotiations with is a black-owned firm. Okay, so we're going to do everything we can to make sure that when we go through this contracting process. But we made a 40% commitment to the city for DBEs. But it's my hope that we'll exceed that. But it's going to be different. Remember, I said each venue is going to kind of do its own thing. So in the leases that we are preparing for say, for example, the movie studio, their lease in it has a 40% DBE requirement. Okay. Now, that means that they've got to do their part. Even though we don't own the dirt, we won't actually manage the contractor as we're the master developer. But they've got a requirement that they've got to satisfy in order to meet the lease requirements of our agreement. So the way we've done it is some of it we will actually control it ourselves, but some of it we will have to control it contractually. But the long and short of it is if you're, I think it's important to be a certified DBE, because if you are, it gives you the opportunity to be a participant and for those contractors to get credit for it. Now, I would also tell you, if you're a DBE, don't be scared to go and be the prime. You don't just have to be the subcontract. If you're a tradesman, I understand that. But if you're a general contractor, look, you can build some of these venues. We think the Family Entertainment Center is probably a $12 million building, a $6 million building, $6 million of internal stuff. So those are projects that are good projects that I think minority-owned general contractors can build as well. So I wouldn't be shy about it, and I would be aggressive and paying attention to our website as these opportunities sort of begin to evolve. First one is demolition, and we've selected an African-American firm for that. Excuse me. And now it's, and then as we get further along in construction and pre-development, architecture, all of those types of things, I wouldn't shy away from any of those as well.
So do you have a date in mind for when all of this is going to come together for
27. We 27. Think we'd like to say by first quarter 27, but it may end up it'll be in 2027 is the target. Now some of the venues will come on sooner, but we think that phase 1 will be done in 27.
Okay.
Okay.
You think that's an audacious goal?
No, I think it's reasonable.
It's reasonable.
We'll start tearing stuff down. If you think about it this way, We'll be done with the tear downs of everything in 25, right? Beginning of 25. The final facility condition assessment, which is also being done now, will be also done January, let's call it, of 25. So now we know where we can build, and we'll also have deals in place with who's going to do it. So then it's going to be probably 4 to 5 months of architectural sort of infrastructure kind of work that'll have to go on. Then they'll start moving some dirt around, I'm imagining, unless there's something that comes up out of the facility condition assessment. And most of these venues are 18-month build cycles. So if you think about, call it June of 25, they're starting. So if you said a year and a half from there, that's early 27. If there's some slippage in there, let's just say 27 across the board.
Yeah.
Some will come on before others.
But I like the idea of the whole phasing because everybody who knows me knows I'm an educator. So I just think about it in those terms.
Yep.
And when these schools pop up, they don't pop up K-12. They pop up and they phase in, right?
That's correct.
Because the kids bring the money, and the money brings on the additional phases.
Yes, that's
so I
right.
like the idea of phasing, and as you phase, the money is coming to help build out other things. So that's the way I thought about it in my brain. You don't just go K-12, you go K-2, K-5, and you just...
And it'll be crazy.
And you just phase in.
Because all of these different activities are going to be going on at the same time. They'll be building sports fields, hotels, and lagoons and stuff all at the
But
same
we
time.
still can be open for business as we're phasing new parts.
All the way from Houston, line number 2. Don, you're on with Mr. Troy Henry.
Yes.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
Good morning to you.
Good morning, Don.
Yes. I don't know about Chick-fil-A unless you plan on you losing revenue on Sundays. There's other chicken franchises, if I would think. But remember the Rapper's Delight, the macaroni saga, the cheese of the peas all mush, and the chicken tastes like wood?
Yeah.
You want to have top-rated concession, okay? And what I mean by that, high quality. When people travel, they want high-quality service and food, and New Orleans is known for the food, not just glue like nacho cheese stuff. That's played out. You need red beans and rice, chicken wings and turkey legs and all that kind of stuff, concession. Just the most popular stuff.
Thank you, Don.
But,
I can tell you that...
Don ain't finished yet.
Oh, go ahead, Don.
Go ahead,
No,
Don.
I was cool. I know you can't put everything in there, but would there be what would be your
We should go
contributions to the community of a conference center to even promote further business activities? And in other words, there a conference, would it be a small conference area for people to business people and entrepreneurs to gather and to get hands-on relationship with the businesses that already committed to
that's a great question.
Bayou Phoenix?
Yeah.
Would it be an incubator amongst the incubators?
That's a great question. Thank you, Don.
Yeah, thank you, Don. Two things.
You
First
gonna
of all,
answer the chicken question?
Let me
Why
let me
is the
start.
chicken cross the road?
Let me start with the retailers. Our vision for retail is there'll be about 60% of the retail will be food and beverage. 40% will be, whether it's sporting goods or novelty gifts and things of that sort.
Souvenirs.
Of that 60%, of the food and beverage, we anticipate there being 50% will be local brands and 50% will be national brands. There are some people that will want to come to New Orleans and they're going to want to try a local brand, call it Dookie Chase, let's just call it maybe a local brand. Other people are going to want to try the Olive Garden or something like that, you know what I mean, because that's familiar to them.
Right.
So we'll have a blend of 50-50 of those. So that kind of addresses and I don't know if it's Chick-fil-A or if it's, Willa Jean's chicken. I don't know. We haven't decided yet who those brands are going to be. As it relates to conference center, the answer is we'll have the plan for now at a minimum is 2 hotels. One of those hotels will be a traditional hotel, which will have conference capabilities in it. And an interesting type of conferencing capabilities because when you do these tournaments, a lot of times teams want to meet. Before the championship game, they want to meet or they want to have a prayer session. They want to plan. They want to be able to do these types of things. But also in the not when tournaments aren't going on, the indoor facility can be used as a conference center. Indoor basketball sports facility. If you think about it, you got 8 basketball courts. That's a pretty big room to be able to put a stage up to, talk about whatever the conference is or what have you, right?
Yeah.
We'll also, the lagoon, the Clearwater Beach Lagoon, will have a amphitheater. So there is a possibility not only to be music, but they could also have a meeting or a rally or something like that as well, using that venue.
So there's a lot of alternative possibilities.
There is. There is.
Let's go back to the lines. Line number 1. Good morning. God bless you, Miss Janice. Miss Janet, you're on with Troy Henry.
Good morning, Councilman Thomas, Dr. Wise, and Mr. Hendry.
Good morning.
Good morning. Mr. Henry, I was the neighborhood mother. Everyone was at our house all of the time, the youth, because I have 3 sons.
Yep.
And we planned trips to Disney World in Florida, Six Flags in Texas. And also we brought them to water parks in Baton Rouge and Homer. And I know you talked earlier on the program about duplicating different things for the youth at Bayou Phoenix. Have you considered the large Ferris wheel like they have in Atlanta, where you can ride and look around the city? That would be something good in New Orleans for the visitors and the people who live here to ride on that Ferris wheel, because I know you say that one time you will limit the ride.
Oh, yeah. We had a long discussion amongst our development team as it relates to Ferris wheel, and we just thought that we really wanted to avoid the entire amusement park scenario. We looked at actually preserving the roller coaster, preserving the Ferris wheel that's there, and basically, based upon the analysis and the data that we had, we just didn't think it would make economic sense to do that. Now, the city could take the Ferris wheel if they wanted, move it somewhere else, or they could build one like they do. Seems like every major city now. Seattle, I was just out there. Atlanta, London, they've all got Ferris wheels. But there won't be a Ferris wheel at this point in time at Bayou Phoenix, nor a roller coaster. One time we looked at preserving it, but now there's actually, I think, folks that are interested in buying the roller coaster from our scrap company, from our demolition company. So, unfortunately, no. But we'll have a lot of other things that'll keep the kids busy and engaged. Whether it's the Family Entertainment Center is going to have all kinds of. It's 50,000 square foot building, if you could imagine, with just all kind of games and bowling and food and ropes and swings and all kind of things, video games, that kind of stuff that they'll be able to immerse themselves into. So that's kind of what our design is. Hopefully somebody else may want to take up that downtown Ferris wheel like most of the other communities are doing. But it won't be at Bayou Phoenix.
It won't be at Bayou Phoenix.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Shannon.
So as you were talking, I was just hearing jobs.
Yeah.
Right? Stimulate this economy.
The other thing people have asked about is that we talk about here how indelible our culture and our traditions are.
Yes.
Many of these sites, they do their job in terms of their mission, whether it's sports facilities, theme parks, or water parks.
Mm-hmm.
But what about New Orleans tradition and culture? I know people have pitched to you characters and traditional New Orleans characters, but which talk about how it'll be uniquely ours.
Well, the venue alone is in New Orleans, so it's unique from that standpoint. But we plan to theme out the venue. In other words, so there'll be a New Orleans theme to it that gives people a chance to experience a taste of New Orleans, whether it be in the food and in the look and the appeal of it. It's our intention to kind of be able to theme it out so that it's not a generic suburban look to it. It has a New Orleans look and feel to it. One of the things I was also, about 3 weeks ago now, I was in Chicago with our project manager, Vince Williams, Bayou Phoenix project manager, Vince. And we went up to see a venue called Flyover Chicago. And it is an experience that we think might have some possibilities of New Orleans, where you literally sit in these suspended seats and virtual reality, and you're literally flying over Chicago. Mm-hmm. You feel the wind, you feel the mist, you feel all of the different things that are going on. You're immersed in there. for about 14 minutes. And we think that's something that we may consider for Bayou Phoenix. We'll see. We just began discussions with them, but it'll give people a chance to experience New Orleans without having to necessarily go through all of New Orleans if they're there for a weekend tournament or something like that.
So what about like when you go to Disney World, you're met like by Mickey? Can they be met by the Streetcar Tramp or Flag Boy Giz or Queen Taj or somebody that makes it unique to New Orleans and it amplifies our culture?
And when I talk about theming, there's a couple companies that have already approached us about theming it based upon some uniquely New Orleans characters.
Mm-hmm.
So, look, we're going to go to break, and when we come back, give us a call, 504-582-9422. What we want to talk about in this last segment is where are we now with the project and what people can expect, right?
Okay.
And who's on first? The WBOK. 12:30 a.m. Whose station?
Our station.
It's our station, baby. We'll be back after the break.
Can you?
This is your news update for WBOK 1230 AM from WDSU. For all your news and weather, watch WDSU News, New Orleans' leader in live, local, late-breaking news. Today at noon and 4 p.m.
Happy Monday. Expect to see a few showers along the coast today and spreading to everyone else once we get to the afternoon. We're looking at a 40% chance for rain, so not a complete washout. With highs today into the mid-80s. More chances for rain on Tuesday, and then the rest of the week, though, smaller chances for rain. From the WDSU First Warning Weather Center, I'm Raven Richard.
Trying to grow your business or increase traffic to your location? We can help. WBOK 1230 AM has a number of solutions that will meet your individual needs. Give one of our consultants a call today at 504-582-9420 or email us at info@wbok1230.com. And remember, an investment with WBOK is an investment in our community. Call today.
You might wonder, John Legend, how do you keep your voice sounding so legendary? Honey. And how do I keep my protection against COVID-19 up to date? With a COVID shot this season, designed for recent variants.
You can get your COVID-19 shot when getting your flu shot if you're due for both, as recommended by the CDC.
The fresher, the better.
Ask your healthcare provider about getting this season's COVID-19 shot when getting your flu shot.
Sponsored by Pfizer. Join the conversation September 20th with Kelvin Luster from Home Bank during the Good Morning Show at 8:30 a.m. Don't miss Kelvin Luster from Home Bank live on the Good Morning Show, September 20th at 8:30 a.m.
Tune in to The Monitor's Mic, where we talk about oversight, policing, and you. Hosted by the Office of Independent Police Monitor, we're here to shine a light on policing issues that matter, from real-time policing updates to in-depth interviews. Every Friday at noon on WBOK.
Hey folks, it's Dr. Shepard. You know me. I've got something special for you. Write this number down. 504-858-4696. That number is for you if you're having hair loss issues, no matter what the issue may be. It's for an all-natural ingredient formula derived by my mom, a pharmacist, in 1971. And trust me, it works. Give us a try. You can get your hands on it right now. Call 504-858-4696.
The New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation is the nonprofit organization that owns the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival, presented by Shell. With the funds generated from Jazz Fest, the foundation invests in Louisiana communities through economic development, cultural enrichment, and free educational programs. To learn more about the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation, please visit us at www.jazzandheritage.org.
Greetings, WBOK family. This is Jason Clark, host of United Way and You. Be sure to tune in next Thursday at 12 p.m. when we'll be speaking with Melanie Richardson, co-founder and executive director of Training Grounds, a United Way funded partner. The topic will be the We Play, We Connect Family Resource Hub. Please tune in if you're able. Until then, we only have one life to live, so live united.
Every day, the RTA gets thousands of New Orleanians where they need to be. Whether you're headed downtown, the Ninth Ward, or Algiers, our buses, ferries, and iconic streetcars are going your way. Rolling with the RTA is a smart way to help you save money and the environment. Download the La Pass app today to plan your ride, get real-time arrival information, or make mobile payments. Because the RTA is how New Orleans rolls.
Hey everybody, it's Kimber White Dupree.
And it's Graylin Bryant Banks from the front porch. We're coming up next.
Good morning, Wake Up.
The Good Morning Show.
Good morning.
On WBOK 1230 AM.
Man, once again, first of all, I want to thank all of our listening audience, man. Tell folk, Dr. White and I all the time, man, we learn so much here, such a sophisticated, well-intentioned, well-informed listening audience. So we're going to go back to the lines right now.
Okay.
But before we get into where are we now, line number one, Mr. Steve Ringo. Good morning. God bless you. You're on with Mr. Troy Henry.
Hi. How you doing? Thank
We're
you,
doing good, Mr. Ringo.
for taking my call.
Thank you.
I just got a couple of questions. I noticed when I drive from the crossing to Slidell area that they built a brick wall on the lakefront that allows them to the people to build an apartment complex, and the brick wall help them get access to their backyard so they can park their boat. You guys familiar with that?
That's on the Slidell side, right?
Right, Slidell side.
Yeah. No, no.
So, on our side, is it possible with your project at some part in time to build a brick wall and come into the New Orleans area on the the left-hand side of the bridge?
I don't know. We'll let him ask that question, Mr. Ringo. When you go into Slidell, some of the areas are protected in terms of the visuals. Will y'all consider putting up a wall?
Right, a brick wall. Coming from in New Orleans itself, you'll be on the left-hand side of the bridge.
Correct.
Well, put a brick wall up there, and because that area is a natural sand barge area.
Okay.
And it's natural for it to be a beach area.
Yeah. Thank you. We'll let him answer the question.
So I think, Bayou Phoenix isn't on any waterways. We have an 18-acre lagoon that is
part of a wetland, though.
Part of wetlands, yeah, and it's got 300. Well, we've got about 227 acres that we're responsible for, but we'll have fencing.
Okay.
That will, kind of keep people or unwanted critters and things like that out. But we're not near any navigable waters beyond the 18-acre lagoon that we will take down from 18 acres that it currently is to 9 acres.
I'll try
and
to
build a beach around.
Interpret what Mr. Ringo was saying. I think there's a natural sand barge there that protects that area, and once the development starts, a lot of that natural protection from the natural photography will go away because you have to excavate the site. Is there any plan to maybe put up a wall to protect it from maybe some natural occurrences, because you'll lose that natural sandbar, lose that natural wetland protection? Will a wall be put there to protect the area?
I'm not sure. I'm not an environmental engineer.
Okay.
Our civil and environmental engineers will have to determine that one.
Right. Okay. So my question going into break was, well, let's go to the lines right now.
They want to talk to you,
line
Mr.
number
Henry.
one. Mr. John, you're on with Mr. Henry.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning. I'm just thinking real brief and quick. I'm going to talk to you later, Big O, about this very important thing.
Yes, sir.
But I don't know if y'all may have mentioned it or not. You got wildlife like snakes and stuff that might want to enjoy that lagoon too. I mean, how are you going to put up signs that say no reptiles are wild or something? Or how y'all going to deal with that?
Great question. Mr. Henry and I actually toured the site. They got a lot of wildlife there.
Oh, my goodness.
That have already set up their habitat. Great question, Big John.
There are currently 26 alligators that are living in Bayou Phoenix. Our wrangler has already counted them all. wild hogs galore,
Snakes.
rattlesnakes, all kind of different snakes that are out there, wild boar,
Deer?
so deer, you name it, it's all out there. So so
Dr.
first,
Wyatt think you're talking about the zoo.
yeah. So first thing I would tell people is we arrest about 6 to 8 people every week attempting to break in to our site. We have security out there that we pay, and it's crazy because it's on these lists of spooky places to go and things like that.
And
People break in.
coming up.
Yeah. So it's been phenomenal because I'm thinking, with all of the wild critters out there, why in the world would you want to walk out there in the dark? Right. But there are folks that do it on a weekly basis. And so, yeah, we're, part of the clearing process will be working with, the authorities to wrangle up and to harness or kill. Like, I know we've got a wild hog killer that's going out there with a bunch of dogs soon to be able to get some of those. But that clearing process and that demolition process will include, uprooting a habitat. So on a long-term basis, we'll have gotten rid of all of those. We'll be in a different type of water. There will be fencing so that those animals and those critters won't have access to the property again.
In 3 minutes, where are we now? I love our listening audience, but 3 minutes, where are we now? There's finally a lease. After 20 years of not having one.
Our lease is signed.
You're negotiating with potential developers.
Yes.
The demolition.
We'll schedule to start within the next 25 days. Okay. We have a lease that we've entered into with the movie studio as well. We're just waiting on NORA, New Orleans Redevelopment Authority's approval. The two parties have agreed. Now we just have to have NORA to approve on that. We are in negotiations with, as I said, 4 Sportsplex operators today. The hotels will sort of follow Sportsplex because they want to know how many rooms are going to be guaranteed out of the Sportsplex. We have already doing the facility condition assessment so that we know the condition of the pilings, conditions of the infrastructure, conditions of the slabs that are currently there. Do we tear them up or do we keep them and add to them? All of those things are going on now. So we expect by the anniversary, which is in October next month, we expect to make some significant announcements then of our partners for the first phase of the development and our 3 anchors, which is the movie studio, the youth sports complex, and the hotel. Those 3 components we expect to make an announcement sometime in October.
And we're looking at a 2027 unveiling.
Completion date.
Completion date,
yes.
Okay.
We'll unveil it as we, probably by the end of the year, everything will be all the deals should be done by then.
Oh.
So then it's a process to building and designing and all of those types of things that should go on.
So in 30 seconds or less, when's the groundbreaking?
Well, for demolition, we don't consider it a groundbreaking, but we'll start blowing stuff up probably in end of September, early October.
Okay.
And then breaking ground on new things. We think the movie studio will begin probably at the end of the first quarter of 25.
Okay.
Will construction begin on the movie studio?
You promise to come back and keep us informed?
If y'all will have me.
He kind of live here.
Ain't no doubt about it.
Might be a tenant.
Well, we from Uncle Selwyn in his Hope 929 to Troy Henry and Bayou Phoenix Development, Six Flags Jazzland, in this regional project, man. That's for the state and this region. We want to thank all of our listening audience, all of our callers, and Doc Wyatt, what a wonderful show. That's how you start your week, right?
It's always a wonderful show when you're here.
No, I'm a vote
Batman,
for you. Yeah.
I'm Robin.
I'm a vote for you, but let me say this. I can't give you what you already earned, and it's always good to have a co-host with the most. She ain't got the boast because in this town, she the all but a toast.
Now you're a rapper.
Yeah, WBOK, 12:30 a.m. Whose station?
Our station with New Orleans is talking about.
about.
Yeah.